Hello and welcome back everybody to Everlasting Summer. So much to say right now. First of all, thank you, Andre. If you didn't know it, my game broke and my save files didn't work anymore because of a stupid Spanish language version. And yeah. Now it works again because Andre gave me save files of I don't know where, maybe his game, I don't know. But in the end it really worked out and I am so happy right now. So happy. You can't even imagine how happy I am. I'm a little exhausted because, I put a lot of work and a lot of nerves into this, but I'm just happy now that it finally worked. Yeah, and also this is the biggest bull I have ever seen. An update of a different language that kills the whole game. This is unheard of, this is unseen of. And that is unheard and unseen of because of a fucking reason. This is stupid. Okay, now we can always argue the game is for free. It is made by a bunch of people who are not professionals, etc., but still, it's still bull. Like, really, it's still bull. Anyway, let's get finally into the Julia ending and find some answers. I am really craving for answers. Oh, and we're just, he just yelled Shurik's name, but he did get no answer. Our friend Semyon. Oh yeah, I forgot my controller doesn't work in the broke version anymore. Then I have to use the mouse. That is unfortunate. Or maybe another button? No, my controller just does not work in the broke version. Oh well, okay. Around the corner, the shadow disappeared. I saw a blurry human shape. Someone was sitting on a stone. I'll put it down here in the left corner so you don't have to stare at it the whole time. You know, the mouse cursor. Alright. Or maybe something. It looks more like someone with a little Nico stuff going on. I stopped that. Ah, damn it. Of course, that is... shittity shit. There we go. Sorry, already fucking up. What are you doing here? I heard a lovely voice. Catching mice? I opened my mouth, but couldn't say anything. Did you see any here? No, but I'm sure there are plenty of them. I shined the flashlight at her face. Either someone was wrong with her head or with her biological species. Because of her ears and tail, she doesn't really look like a human. And how many have you caught? Not a single one. She answered seriously. She didn't look hostile. Subconsciously, I felt that I shouldn't be afraid of her, but at the same time, I had absolutely no idea what to ask her, how to ask her, who she is, or what she is doing. But on the other hand, normally if you suddenly met someone in a deserted mine, you would have a heart attack from the shock. And the girl in front of me was definitely not a pioneer from the camp. Well... probably not, no. And you? Who are you? You're probably looking for him. Yes I do, I've done quite a few times. For who? That boy. Well... yes? I answered after a small pause. But still, the girl interrupted me. Yeah, that with the mouse, that is really unfortunate. The problem is, my mouse is pretty loud, and yeah, I've got a whole bunch. If you want to listen to a few buttons of my keyboard, this is what it would sound like if I'd used the keyboard, so the mouse is still the better option we have. The girl interrupted me. He has been walking around here for a long time. I tried talking to him, but he didn't hear me. And where is he now? I don't know. Maybe he's still wandering somewhere. It seems she wasn't interested in this conversation at all. And you... how did you get here? The same way you did, from the surface. Without a flashlight. Why not? She gave me a perplexed look. I completely lost all comprehension. I mean, she is a cat girl. She can probably see pretty good in the dark. The flashlight flickered. Terrified, I started banging it with my fist. When the light lit back up, the girl wasn't there. Oh. I don't know who or what she is, but it seemed like she could help me find the answers. It's the strangest thing, but I wasn't scared of her. I just felt that this girl wouldn't do me any harm. But now I must find Shurik. I have a feeling that this is not the last time I will meet this girl. Me neither, actually, at this point. I don't know why, but I'm sure about it. Okay, turn into the darkness. Is this the normal Shurik stuff? Yeah, it's the normal Shurik stuff. Okay. Let's see what happened. Oh no, wait. Okay, he's cool. So it's like in the Slavia route. Okay, he's normal in the head. Okay. He needed some parts for the robots, and I heard that there is a bomb shelter in the old camp. And there could be some instruments there. So I got up in the morning and went. He stopped for a minute, trying to deal with the tremblings of his hand. I found suitable parts, but then I read primal fear in his eyes. The voices. They told me to go here. I went down the mine. Then they were telling me to go to the right, then left, then right, then left, then right, then left. He started to laugh hysterically. But no, they won't get me. I'll stay here. They won't find me. He once again started to wave his pipe in the air. Shurik, there is no one there. I wasted quite a lot of time in walking in the mine, but didn't hear any voices. He fixed his eyes on me. Then you are with them. Ah. Well, that is the thing, I guess. Shurik rushed towards me. I was just barely able to dodge it. But the flashlight wasn't as lucky, and took the full force of Shurik's blow. We found ourselves in complete darkness. Now it was my turn to lose my mind. What have you done, you idiot? I lashed out with my hand in the direction where I expected Shurik to be, but to no avail. Now we will both die here. I got nothing but silence in return, and then a quiet, hysterical laugh. It's alright. That's fine. I know where the exit is. Follow me. Follow you where? I can't see a damn thing. I wouldn't follow him, to be honest. Follow my voice. I had no other choice. Here. Shurik's voice was heard from somewhere further on. How do you know where to go? I walked all over here. Then why didn't you leave? The voices. Quiet. They can hear us. In theory, I could believe that there are some supernatural forces here. In the Soviet camp, they'd just be a daily occurrence. Well, there wasn't that much magical stuff yet. I mean, in some endings, of course, but you don't know that on day 4. Just saying. But there was no reason to panic yet. Though my hands were shaking non-stop. Here. I slowly followed his voice and eventually lost track of time. We could have been roaming for a few minutes, or a few hours. Finally, a dim light appeared in the distance. We're here. We reached the wall. The way towards freedom was blocked by a lattice on the ceiling. I pulled myself up and recognized the square from the bits of landscape I could see. Lift me up. Shurik obediently followed my request. I started to hit the grating with my fists so hard that in just a few strikes my arms were all covered in blood. But in return, the grating gave away and pushed open. Why didn't you use the broken flashlight? Oh well, you probably left it there. That is actually reasonable. Oh well. A minute later, we were out on the surface, behind the monument of Genda. When I saw this grating before, I had no idea that there could be catacombs below it. They will come for you. I fell to the ground, exhausted. Who? They will come, said Shurik again and ran away. I was so exhausted that I could not even be bothered thinking about some voices or recalling the forsaken camp, the bomb shelter, or the mine. Almost unconscious, I reached the camp leader's cabin, but I couldn't go to bed right away. Well, look who's here. Olga. I started tiredly, attempting to cut the explanation to a minimum. You said you were going for a walk, but instead... And I was going to go and call the police, and... Olga, can it wait until tomorrow? I am really, really tired. The camp leader eyed all over me. Okay, fine. I was a bit surprised that she agreed so fast, but decided not to waste this opportunity and quickly turned the light off and darted under the covers. And then that girl from the mine appeared just before my eyes. I saw her so clear. It was as if she was really in front of my bed. No, I'm just seeing things. But still, why didn't I get scared back then? I just went and spoke to her normally. Just like that. All the answers are here. That cat-eared girl knows something for sure. Maybe I was too exhausted because of the old camp, mine, and labyrinth, and my nerves were stretched to breaking. I should have asked her about something. But I still have time. There we go. On the Julia route. Let's see what this offers. Day ... Apparently, well, this is either like the Miko route, a whole subplot, or this is just some kind of final ending. We'll see. It is interesting how seemingly simple effects can affect a person. For example, there are such widespread occurrences of OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. Obsessive compulsive disorder. Yeah, that is my weakest point in English are illnesses. I am always puzzled about illnesses. You remember that with the activated coal or something like that? Yeah, medicaments, drugs, illnesses. I have no idea. Where when you walk on the road you have to step on the tiles precisely, avoiding the cracks. Oh, that is that. Well, I did that too, but not in an obsessive way. It seems like nothing special, but if one doesn't get rid of it in time, just forgetting or forcing oneself to step over the tiles, it could become a really big problem in the future. For instance, one will only stare down and will get hit by a car. I never had anything like OCD, but minor events in my life often led to major troubles. Really, what is wrong with meeting a strange girl with cat ears in a pioneer camp on the edge of time and space, or possibly even between the worlds? There is a lot of wrong with that. Doesn't seem like a big deal. Oh yes it is. Although, perhaps I just got used to thinking that nothing really exists for me. That nothing really existed for me before this week, I see. There was only this camp and this life. That is why something like a cat girl was just par for the course in this wonderland. She is just another character in this play, neither better nor worse than any other. Oh, we'll see about that. I hope she has a few answers, actually. But somewhere deep in my soul, I knew that it wasn't so. All the camp inhabitants seemed normal, sometimes even too normal, with absolutely nothing remarkable about them. Jeez. You could even say that my life here was simply boring. And now? My head was about to burst with thoughts, so I opened my eyes and jumped out of bed. The camp leader's cabin was the same as usual. Outside the window, a bird monotonously cheeped, trying to burst the capillaries in my eyes with her singing. The clock showed 11 a.m. Why didn't Olga wake me up? Though, who cares? I slept enough at least. However, I didn't feel like I had fully recovered. The whole world was seemingly laughing at me. The bright sun outside, the lightly blowing breeze, gently whispering to the crowns of the trees, and this nasty bird had brought me some fellows with her, obviously trying to ruin my mental stability. Yeah, tell me about it, man. I have a bird who starts singing at 5 o'clock, this unsocial asshole. It's really bad. On the other hand, right now I have to get up at 5 in the mornings anyway, so this bird can go fuck himself. I beat him, one way or the other. Water from the washstands was ice cold as usual. While washing my face, I realized that I forgot my toothbrush, tooth powder, and towel in the cabin. Strange I didn't forget my hat. I couldn't imagine a worse start to the day. At that moment, I thought it was the worst day of all that I have spent in this camp. This one, it just started, man. Although there weren't a lot of choices. Little more than 100 hours. Not enough time to get the full image of a new home. Home. Those words struck my mind painfully. Do I have to stay here forever? But why? How? What for? I helplessly sat on the grass and buried my face in hands. Suddenly I remembered that girl. I wonder how many more fantastic characters I will meet here. A wonderful day, isn't it? I couldn't even be bothered to raise my head. Yeah, couldn't be any better. I answered, keeping the same pose. Why so sarcastic? Sarcastic? I was surprised and looked up, but there was nobody nearby. Is it my imagination? No, I heard that for sure. Maybe I'm losing my mind? That underground mine, Shurik voices, the cat girl, more voices. Is there anything here I can be sure about? I punched the washstand painfully hard and immediately jumped up, holding my own hand and cursing. Damn it! Suddenly somebody walked out of the bushes in front of me. Or something. Hi. So, who was that voice that just talked to me? It was probably the strange pioneer, wasn't it? So he will be involved in this ending as well. That is interesting. It was the girl from yesterday. Well, you look kinda bummed, to be honest. What's wrong? I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to expect from her. She's probably a hell beast and came here to end my life. That is, of course, only if it hasn't ended already. The cat girl stared at me. It hurts? She looked at my hand. Yes, I answered timidly. Then why? Why what? Why did you punch it? 'Cause I was angry. I was completely unsure how I should talk to her. Perhaps one wrong word, phrase, or gesture could be fatal for me. Angry at who? But the girl wasn't showing any signs of aggression. It seemed that she was just wondering what is happening. At myself. I see. She smiled faintly. Listen, I don't know how I should put it, but I must ask. I kept silent for a moment, gathering myself. Who are you? The girl looked at me blankly. I am me, of course, she said confidently. No doubt about that, but, how should I say it? You just don't meet a human with cat ears and a tail every day, you know. The cat girl carefully examined the aforementioned parts of the body and asked, Why? I was totally confused. I am as well, to be fair. If in the first few minutes I thought it was necessary to be afraid, to be very careful, now she seems more like a good spirit being than a hostile monster. Oh, so is she the counterpart to the strange pioneer? Well, we'll see. Why didn't you help me then in the Simeon ending, though? That is uncool of you, brah. Because in my world, I was absolutely convinced that I shouldn't hide anything from her. Oh well, if you say so. In my world, this only happens in fairy tales. What is a fairy tale? Well, it's a story which cannot happen in reality. So I don't really exist? The girl laughed. I'm not even sure that I exist. But I can touch you, so you exist. No, that is not how that works. Just thinking about the fact she will touch me, I felt uncomfortable. Cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. Although this has this is not really the end of all wisdom and philosophy. But, no, I don't want to start a philosophy discussion here. But if you're interested in existence and stuff like that, read René Descartes. It's actually pretty interesting. One of my favorite philosophers we read stuff in school about. It's actually Very interesting. But just saying. Just thinking about the... Yeah, okay, I read that. Well, let's say I exist, yes. I stepped back. Goody goody. The girl smiled and waved her tail. There was an awkward silence. It's so warm again. It's driving me crazy. For a few days, the joke is, it was 40 degrees. It became 25 degrees. I got ill. Now it's back to 30 to 35 degrees. This is not German summer. This is Cuban weather. And nothing against Cuba, but now I can travel to Cuba and have colder holidays. And probably the air isn't as wet in Cuba as it is here as well. Jesus Christ. All the time I'd spent in this camp, I lived as if in a dream. Sometimes when you sleep, you realize that everything that happens in your brain is just a figment of your imagination, and you need just to wish. I thought so for at least the last 5 days. This thought constantly existed somewhere deep in my soul. However, it seems that everything is happening in reality. At least I couldn't just wake up. I just want to understand. What? The girl was still smiling. If you don't give me answers, I will be very angry. Oh well, okay, I mean there is still the Genia DLC. And I hope that has a lot of answers, but I also expect at least some from you. Otherwise I will be angry. How I got here. And how to get out of here. Suddenly I heard voices by the roadside, so it turned around. Slavia and Genia were slowly approaching the washstands. And of course she had disappeared. Did you see? Did you see it? Like I just needed someone to confirm the existence of this creature. Then I can convince myself that I'm not going crazy. What an irony, to go mad while in the land of Oz. Though, just arriving here is already a ticket to the loony bin. Most likely. And even if I wake up right now, I still wouldn't be sure that it was all a dream. See what? The girl looked at me blankly. Anyone beside me? I could hardly speak. So, an illusion, huh? So, I'm actually... You should get your head examined, seriously. Genia snorted and passed by. Slavia smiled apologetically and hurried after her. So, it is all that simple? I wanted just one thing now. For someone in this nightmare to believe that I'm still sane. This whole camp and its pioneers did not seem as real as yesterday. In the end, less than a week ago, I lived in the completely normal life of an ordinary man of his time. And now, maybe everything that happened made me think that all is going to the way it should. That it's normal, just to exist here. And now the last leftovers of my common sense desperately clung to this cat-like girl with the ears, trying to prove to the locals that I'm not crazy. See? You don't exist, you! It's me and your tale, not you and mine. My head was about to explode. If not for the signal for dinner, perhaps I would have run to the library, searching for medical books with lobotomy instructions. The canteen was crowded as usual. Some things never change. Yeah, like people eating, for example. You are a great philosopher, Semyon. For the first time, I looked at the local pioneers from a slightly different angle. Indeed, why is everything so correct? And if someone created this pioneer camp by carefully compiling material from the internet without bothering to visit blooper reel, without bothering to visit such a place himself, it was just like an old Soviet movie. The strict camp leader, the exemplary pioneers. Isn't Soviet movies also so much sex? Or is this just stolen from the anime part of this movie? Even Ulyana, and even Alisa, all within the normal range. So where does that strange girl come from? She seemed like a smear of paint that just happened to be on the picture, due to the shaky hands of a sloppy restorer. Electronic suddenly sat beside me. Hey there, he smirked. Hey, what are you thinking about? Just... There was absolutely nothing wrong with speaking openly to anyone. Not anymore. Did you happen to see anyone strange here? Strange? Well, not quite human. I don't really understand. Electronic laughed. A girl with cat's ears and a tail, I said shortly. A girl with ears and a tail? He began to think. How do you know about her? Yeah, that is their robot. We already saw it. That is also a thing I want to be explained. Well, let's assume I saw her. This conversation was starting to get interesting. Let's assume, you actually did. Is it really so important? Electronic stared at me seriously. There is a legend here about a cat girl. She steals food, small bits, and pieces of stuff and avoids people. Really? A legend? So, what does this girl look like? I never saw her myself. They say that she has a tail and ears, as you described. What else? Well, this legend is old, and I don't know much about it. Yeah, you know, the ancient legends of pioneer camps. You know, communism wasn't that old that you can say a legend is old, you know? You know what I mean? Like, old legends are hundreds of years old, thousands of years old, not 25 years old. I mean, you know what I mean. Of course, it could be longer than 25, but you see where I'm coming from. Who do you think knows more? Ask Olga. She's been in the camp many times, even before she became a camp leader. Alright, thanks. I stood up and went to find the camp leader. I bet she decided to take a nap after lunch. Perhaps Olga was the only element that was somewhat out of place in the picture of an ideal camp. She certainly was not a role model camp leader. Oh yes, she is not, but still. Still a lovable character, you can't argue that. I opened the door and confidently entered the cabin. Actually, Olga is one of my more favorite characters. She has a really real touch to her, you know what I mean? She is trying to be strict, but she is not very good at it, you know what I mean? She's like the lovable teacher you have in school. And indeed, she was lying on the bed and reading a book, as expected. Semyon, slacking again? Actually, yes, but anyway. I wanted to ask you something. She stared at me, and I hesitated a little. Maybe I shouldn't be so straightforward about everything. It was like my internal firewall had triggered, and I just could not tell the camp leader that I had seen the cat girl today. Maybe I got quite used to hinting at something, avoiding straight questions, lying and keeping words back. In just 4 days. Although, I guess I'd been doing that my whole life. Yeah, but I mean in this situation it was rather reasonable. If you want to teach me don't hold back stuff, everyone would have held back stuff in this camp. That is only reasonable. Olga. I was at the dinner. Spoke with Electronic. And he told me a legend about a cat girl that supposedly lives here. He also said that you would know more. Why do you need to know that? The camp leader gave me a piercing look and stood up. Just curious. I like stuff like this. I tried to smile, but it didn't seem to make things any better. We have a completely normal camp. Sure you do. Completely normal. Don't even want to imagine what you'd call unusual. I suppose something with the zombies and maniacs. Ha ha ha! Hoo. Yeah. Good one. A nightmare on Sovietgames Street. Yeah, that's probably what the Miku route was called. Yes, I understand, but... Electronic said that you visited this place before. Yes. Camp leader was thinking about something. However, there is indeed a legend that somewhere in the surrounding woods a strange cat girl lives, sometimes stealing food and small items from cabins. She is afraid of people, and if someone accidentally sees her, she runs away. That was quite different from what I saw this morning. That girl was more like watching me, studying, trying to understand, but not afraid at all. And you... Have I seen her? Olga interrupted me. No, I haven't, but I was quite close to doing so several times. How do you know? Bottles, milk, tooth powder, and plenty of other things disappeared from my cabin sometimes. Mysteriously disappeared without a trace. That is what you call a thief, Olga. Just saying. I'd completely forgotten about the fact that all the pianists here do not actually exist, and just listened attentively to the camp leader. I was curious where this stuff disappeared to before, but in the end, there is no evidence of her existence. She smiled, as if implying that this conversation is over. And if there was? Why are you so interested in this? Who wouldn't be interested in stuff like this? Touché! Though I still had many things to rack my brains for. I don't know. The camp leader thought about something for a second, and then returned to her usual mother-of-all-camp state. Well, seems like you've decided to become completely laid back. Do something already. She paused and stretched herself in such a way that wrinkles that shouldn't even be there at her age came out. Go on, get down to business. To defeat the Huns. I just sighed and went out. All in all, no one from among the pioneers has ever seen a cat-eared girl. It only heard legends. Well, I should probably find her. I had already recovered from this morning's shock events, and existential thoughts have by now stopped pressuring my brain, so it was possible for me to take a reasonable position, more or less. It was necessary because I still had a lot of questions. How did I get here? For what reason? Why? And where is this here? And the cat girl is the catalyst for it all. But I didn't want to start theorizing about parallel worlds, aliens, experiments, and the afterlife again. I was fed up with this just after my first few hours in this camp. Perhaps I just need to put aside the theories and look at the physical reality. Even if I assume that this world exists, regardless of my will, and I have to live here, my arrival here is inexplicable. It's more worthwhile to concentrate on studying this world and on analyzing possible events which may happen to me here. I'll do that until opposite is proven. Until then, let's assume that I'm stuck here. Reasonable. For the long haul, it's not if not forever. I wonder really how this ends. I mean, I guess that is what I guess. He will return to the normal world. It's all about him learning something. Like, don't be an outcast, don't lock yourself into your room and stay there forever, yada yada yada. But I would be happy to be surprised, really. I'm always in for a good surprise that makes a lot of sense. We'll see. The deck chair melodiously squeaked with my every movement. Lilac branches tried to strike me in the face, and the vile morning birds were silent for a long time, apparently tired of the summer heat. The treetops seemed like sharp peaks of the high walls of a medieval castle, lost in the boundless woods. And these cabins, the square, Gender's monument, the clubhouse buildings, are just a little village of peasants, huddling near the millennial walls of a grim fortress, hidden in a grove. Whoops, clicked out of the window. And all of us here, either people like me or catgirls, are just servants of an evil genius hiding somewhere out there. That is actually, also, if you read Descartes, I talked about that before, cogito ergo sum, you remember. That is also a quite interesting discussion, you know? Descartes lived in the 16th or 17th century, I don't really remember anymore. But of course it was a time where Christianity played a big role in society. And also, of course, in philosophy, since you couldn't say bad things about any beliefs or something like that. Because if you do, the church will get you. You could be sure of that. And he argues there if there is a mastermind, if it's not just an evil spirit, you know. And in the end, he comes to the conclusion that it is not an evil spirit, but the Almighty God and stuff like that. But it's for the time, it is interesting that he even dared to consider it. And the church was not very happy with that. As mentioned, if you're interested in stuff like that, Google René Descartes. I think I put it up the first time, the name, so you know how to write it. Where was I? Ah yeah, it would be much easier if the camp was on top of a hill. Because 1,000 years ago, the best place for a fortification was always somewhere up high. True, Probably that someone just has nothing to be afraid of. But in that case, he would not hide so carefully behind the treetops. I sighed and closed my eyes. My consciousness slowly started to desert me, and soon the whole world faded into blackness. Or darkness. Is this from the beginning? I think this is from the beginning, isn't it? And again, before my eyes, like an endless carpet, the road, surrounded by woods and fields, goes ever on. The bus is going somewhere, leaving behind everything I knew, loved, and hated. An unfamiliar girl is leaning over me and gently whispering something in my ear. I'm actually interested in what she is saying, but I can't hear her. I'm just watching everything from the side and can't see everything except her face. And hear everything except her words. And feel everything except my own life. And I think this is where we'll stop. This is a good point to stop, I guess. So, I'm really curious what happens. I hope this will... The only thing that they can do wrong is that nothing in the end makes sense. Sorry, when I sometimes mumble, I'm wiping away my sweat with a towel. Sorry, but as mentioned, it's really hot in here again. I have no problem with an end that you can totally see coming. As mentioned, like he was there to learn a lesson and now he's a different person. I'm totally okay with that. If it makes sense, that is wonderful. And it's a good ending. If it is something I do not expect, and it makes a lot of sense, and it's great, it's awesome. The only thing I expect now is that it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, well, I will be pissed. Because, you know, I invested my whole life by now in this game. Probably not, but you know what I mean. It's like, what was a game that had a really poor payoff? Or a story that had a really poor payoff. You know, I think of an example and I'll tell you the next time. So, thank you everybody for watching. Once again, a big thanks to Andre. You are the best person on the planet. At least in my opinion. And I'm so thankful that you gave me these save files. I mean, there would have been alternatives, but they wouldn't be half as good as what I'm doing now, and therefore I'm really, really thankful. You have my deepest gratitude, really. Yeah. So, once again, thank you everybody for watching, and I'll see you in the next part. Bye-bye.